and we're doing a service to the public.
Yeah.
So please, when you guys watch this, share it with your other family members.
Exactly. So, okay, I want to start you off, Crystal. I'd written down a few questions that I want to get into. So, I was watching CNN today and I saw that the governor of California said that he believes within 8 weeks' time, if not shorter, that 56% of the population of California, which is about 25 million people, will get the coronavirus. And my question to you is, do you see that happening? 56%, 25 million people in California specifically getting this. Because right now they're under quarantine. But, they
Yeah,
can
right
still
now
go
they're
out.
under quarantine, and right, what I'm getting through my psychic abilities is they already. So we're just finding out how much people is about to get it. They previously knew. These are previous numbers, so they already have that. Yeah, he's right.
So how would they have that if people aren't being tested? They don't have enough tests.
It's like they're getting called in. They're getting called in, and yeah, they're saying we don't have enough tests, but I think certain people could get tests, like the doctor, but it's being filtered out. Like if you're showing symptoms, people are a lot of people is coming in for shortness of breath. I remember they said only go to the doctor if you have shortness of breath. That means most likely you have coronavirus, and there's thousands of people going into the hospital / calling their physicians and in that I have shortness of breath.
And Crystal and I talked offline before we started this video. So we live in Maryland in the Washington, D.C. area. And today I went into the D.C. area to go look at the cherry blossoms, thinking, hey, no one's going to be out because everyone's supposed to be inside their house doing social distancing, just like I should have been. But I thought no one was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many people out looking at the cherry blossom. Not as many as if this wasn't going on, but I mean a lot, probably like in the hundreds of people.
Wow.
And I was disgusted, almost like,
Oh,
really?
tell us the age range too.
And it was all age range. I saw little kids out there with their parents. I saw older people that the media is saying shouldn't be out there. Just everyone, just really oblivious. People talking to each other, which we should, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but just very oblivious, don't care what's going on. I saw a birthday party happening in the park. Just everyone's out there. And I was really frustrated. And I asked Crystal, like, why is this happening? And if you want to tell them what you told me.
Yeah, I want to also say too, while Simone was going to DC thinking, okay, let's see if our citizens are taking heed of what's going on.
Well, that's not why I was there. I was there to go enjoy it too, not to go judge. But yeah.
Well, clearly they didn't take heed like you.
Yeah.
While I was in home quarantined, I said, let's see what people are talking about in social media, and I was dumbfounded when I heard a celebrity say, hey, I believe in freedom, and this is just a flu. When they were clearly given information that said this is no flu. I was so disgusted by that. But I just want you guys to know, just hearing this and me seeing what was happening on social media, this is not a goddamn common flu, sorry, but this is not a flu. This is something totally different. Think of it like a staph infection. Think of it as MRSA. It's something that's eating the body away to kill. It's rapidly. I want you guys to know that this is very important, and you guys should be taking heed. And
it feels like I'm being scolded by my mom or something. Oh my god.
Well, hey. Clearly just talking clearly I was talking through 4 or 5 videos, and clearly there are still people out, so maybe these are the people who needs it.
Yeah, but you're saying, remember what you told me offline? You said that just because we got the information way in advance, you and I, because we're doing channeling and reading, people didn't get it in that way. They're just getting this information as severely as we got it when we first did our read. So they're a bit more delayed than we are in our response. So, they haven't really seen the severity yet. That's what it said.
Yeah, so why did you go out
Because I
and
thought no one was
not
going to be there. That's
extremely
what I was
hurt?
saying. Once I saw how many people that were there, I went back in the car. But I was going thinking, okay, everyone's in their house, no one's out. But they were. And so I was like, okay, this is not where I want to be. That's why I was
True,
surprised.
and then also this just goes into taking ownership and free choice. You have the choice to take heed or listen or don't, and just be, it's a 50-50. You can stay home and practice social distancing and hope for the best that you don't catch it, or you could go outside and don't practice social distancing and hope for the best. But honestly, just from me channeling, I just know how severe it is, and I would hope whoever listens to this know that it's severe and just do your research, like what you should be doing. Be a participant in your life. But yeah, it's crazy. We're hearing now, as young as 5 years old, have the coronavirus. I'm hearing 35-year-old mother of two who does fitness, who's very healthy, has the coronavirus. I'm hearing healthy people having it. 45-year-old, a 25-year-old who went to celebrate spring break. He has it. He's 25. So this virus does not discriminate against age. It does not discriminate against gender. It does not discriminate against health. If you're healthy, if you're unhealthy, if you're thick, if you're fat, if you're skinny, if you're young, if you're short, if you're tall, it wants whatever's in its way.
So, okay, I'll ask you a question. What's something that the guides want us to know that's not necessarily being pushed out? Like, that's not in the media. That's something that I can't really go and find that they want us to know.
Um, I don't know how we would find this, but it's gonna be like Italy. Obviously, we don't, as Americans, we don't really shine light on something that's very bad or tragic, or so what they're basically saying, it's going to be like Italy. They're going to be digging mass graves or whatever, getting ready to cremate whoever's infected and died, because I don't know, they're talking about, should we bury the bodies or should we cremate them? We don't know how this virus, if we bury the bodies underground or above ground, will it still have the virus in it? Should we burn it so it doesn't contaminate the world? So I don't know how you would get that information or find out, but tell me and link it if you guys see that they're maybe digging mass graves or rounding up um,
You're saying the
facilities.
U.S.
Yeah,
government will be starting to dig mass grave. Is that who they
I
are?
don't think they're going to be digging mass grave. They're most likely going to try to cremate the bodies that pass,
Hmm.
but I don't know how I would be able to
No, that's fine. Like, you don't have to go
identify
find
the
the fact
truth. But
thing. So basically,
yeah,
what they want us to know is it's gonna get as bad as Italy, and they're gonna be cremating the bodies. But wouldn't I have to give them? Wouldn't the people have to give their dead person's body
yeah.
family over to them?
Once it's identified that the person had coronavirus, it's considered the government's property because it's contaminated. It's like there's something in the body. It's a virus, so it could infect the whole mass. So it's not even about that's your family member
Hmm.
anymore.
Okay.
It's about this is for safety of the mass citizens.
So you see, okay, so you still see a lot of like death toll.
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because I forget that too. Jeez. Um, what about the people that's stuck overseas? Do you see them, the American citizens that's stuck? I know there's some, I think over 300 in Peru and some in like Morocco. You see them coming back, or are they staying there, or what's better? What's best for their interest? Is it best for them to come back?
Yeah, come back if they come back as soon as possible,
Hmm.
because I feel like the president will talk to those countries or any country who has U.S. citizens and want to leave, let them leave
Hmm.
in a certain period of time, like days, or like they'll give maybe 2 weeks for them
Yeah.
to go. But then borders will be closed, including America borders, where no one can go
Hmm.
or come. So your best bet is to try to catch a plane if you can,
Okay.
and don't wait for what Trump said. Don't wait for the military to come and evacuate you.
And why? So they're gonna. I know we talked about this offline, but I don't know if you want to say it in the video. Of what you think is gonna happen when, or what the guides are saying will happen once everyone's
Mm-hmm.
here. Once they close the border, talk about what that's gonna look like afterwards.
Well, I see like a mass quarantine for the citizens of America, because they're going to say, well, depending on if everyone keeps partying like it's spring break and going out wherever they're going, like it's vacation, the president's going to come back and say, well, I told you guys to sort of stay in. Obviously, we have free choice, but right now the whole country is going to go under quarantine, and you have to stay in your house for maybe a week,
How will
like
they
that, and you
enforce
can't
that?
leave it.
Because they're releasing prisoners from prison and stuff like that. How would they contain a quarantine? How are they going to stop people from coming out their homes, especially if they have it?
They're free, so they're freeing up the police. So they're freeing up the police so they can do that. They're freeing up the military. Like, hey, this is more important. So that's how they'll contain it, through military and through police.
So how do they contain it? Is it they're going to arrest people? Because then that's a liability. So you arrest someone and they have the
No, to
coronavirus.
go back in your house.
Oh, okay. Is it so?
Get back in your house. If you don't listen, we're gonna arrest you, or you know what happens. If you don't listen, you know what happens. You might get hit in the head.
Okay, stuff like that.
Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So you see cops and military people walking around the streets to make sure, or neighborhoods, or how's that?
Yeah, for safety. They'll
Okay.
say it for safety. This is for safety.
Do you see them also put in military in the hospitals too? Because that's going to be a high intense area, especially if people are turned away saying, "Go home, we can't treat
Maybe,
you."
maybe, but honestly, I see the military staying on their military bases,
Hmm.
where all the states. I
Yeah,
think there's a military base in every state.
yeah, there is.
They're going to be on their base. I don't see military really doing civilian work at the police. So the police will be like military people for the citizens.
Hmm.
The police will be there for the public hospitals. Military will be there for their military hospitals.
Oh, okay.
If the police need help, then they, then they
Maybe the
call.
National Guard or something, or
Yeah.
okay. And let's see. So China is now saying that they don't have any more new cases of coronavirus. Is that true, or are they lying?
That is not true. They are lying, and it's reminding me of what they did in with the Spanish flu. They're lying now because the heat is on them, and they don't want to lose money, because our president is calling it a Chinese flu. It's the Chinese virus. which it originated in China, but so they're saying, no, we have it uncovered. There's nothing happening. But that's not true. They still have people dying, but they're not going to tell the other countries that people are dying, and they're killing the people too.
Oh wow. You see that?
Yeah,
That's sad. That's crazy.
but they're strictly enforcing this. Like they're really crazy
So
over
it's
there.
just like, but why are they doing that when they too could be infected and their family members could be infected? This is, as you said, it's not a virus that discriminates. Anyone could be infected.
Yeah, and it's again how they run their country.
Hmm.
It's very, I don't know if they're communist or what, but it's very it's like a dictator, militant type of scary place.
Okay.
And they just want whatever is coming out of China to be good information, good reporting. They don't want people to hear, hey, this is what's bad about China. No, they
Okay.
just want to hear this is what's good about China, because they just want their business to continue
Yeah.
with what they have with other countries.
It's funny, I don't know if you heard, but the whistleblower guy who had said that exposed the coronavirus. I didn't read much
Mm-hmm.
about him, but I just heard briefly that he died, and he's the one that came out and told the world like what was going on in China, and
Oh
he's from
wow.
China too, but he recently died. Um, also,
And
hmm
and we should be suspicious, honestly. With China, I know that it's being speculated that they knew about this virus 2 months ago before they brought it to the attention of the world. But we should really, really, really think about, was it really 2 months, or did they know this in a year ago,
so
or
what
a
do
couple
you
months
see? What
more?
do you
I
see?
see them
That's what I'm
knowing
saying.
this more than 2 months. I see them knowing this more than what they said. Like, oh, we only knew about it 2 months
Well,
before we told
obviously,
the
obviously,
country.
that's what they're gonna
Yeah,
say. Like, if I knew something 10 months ago and I now it's getting out of control, then maybe at 8 month mark or at the whatever mark, then that's when I'll tell. But I wouldn't tell you that it's been from 10 months ago.
yeah.
So
Well,
that's
that's them.
obvious. Yeah, that's
That's
obvious.
them.
That's what they did. Is it like a year ago that they knew this, or did this just happen too
Quite
fast?
some time. I'm not sure. Quite some time, which is nasty on their part to not tell other countries.
Yeah, that's bad. That's true. But I could, yeah. Um, and North Korea is saying that they don't have any coronavirus cases. Do you see
That's
that?
a lie. That's a lie, and they will not tell the world. Sorry, they're not telling the world. But you think China's bad to their citizens for having corona? The hotels are collapsing, and I air quote that. Really, is your hotels collapsing with all the corona patients?
But
I
you're
don't
sounding
believe
like
that.
you're speculating though, or are you
I'm
reading
sorry.
the
This
spirit?
whole thing sounds speculation. I'm channeling. This whole thing is channeling.
Okay.
It might sound like I'm talking, but I'm channeling.
Because
And
sometimes I
I
get,
just want to let you
I'm
guys
like,
know
is
I'm
she
just
talking to
channeling.
me or are you still channeling? Are you like,
That when the video's on, I'm channeling throughout. I already did my prayer, so I'm just channeling
okay,
throughout.
okay.
But North Korea, no, they're literally killing. If you cough, you're dead.
Oh my god, that's not funny. That's
It's
crazy.
not funny, but
Yeah.
that's what the channeling is telling me. If you cough, you're dead. If you even
Wow.
look at the president, you're dead. So
That's crazy. So what happens if
that's
when
worked
he
up.
gets it? What happens when he gets it?
Everyone's gonna die for knowing that he has it.
Oh my gosh. It's
He's that person.
crazy.
He will kill
Crazy.
everyone who knows it, that he has it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy. Okay. Let's see.
Let's hope his little basketball friend, I forget his name, don't go on over there.
Um,
But yeah, you guys, I am channeling. Sorry.
so tell me, let's talk more about, I always like to talk about what this virus looks like, and then I'm gonna also bring it back towards more positive things like
Mm-hmm.
spiritually, what can you do to protect yourself as well as physically, but I'm not gonna get there right now, but just to let you know, like, instead of having this fear tactic, we're gonna have some good solutions and
Mhm.
or things that you could do to help yourself. But I like to get the facts out and know what's going on. That's how I operate and what I like to know. I don't like stuff to be sugar coated, so I want to know the blunt truth. And then here's what we could do to protect ourselves and stuff like that. So if you could reiterate, or if there's any new information, Crystal, again, um, what does this virus look like? Let's say the next day, the next week, the next 2 weeks, the next couple of months. Could you do like a trajectory of what you see? And we could do. I want to do United States, and then after that, I want to see Jamaica because we're from Jamaica, so I'm curious to see Jamaica, and then if you guys have other countries that you want us to look at to see, then we could do an overview of that.
Okay. Um. So I see. I don't know if it's per se the president who's going to come on again to do a speak, but I feel like the government, your local state government, might come on the TV or tell you guys, hey, go on this website. They're going to give they're going to tell the citizens. So I'm going to use this as an example. Like, so Marylanders,
You're
our
talking about,
government,
sorry, this is a trajectory for a day, a week. What are you looking at?
yeah,
For like a day?
it's not even a week. It's maybe 3 days,
Okay,
three
okay.
days
If you
to
could
a
tell the
week.
timeline that you're
Okay,
seeing too.
it's like maybe tomorrow, 3 days to
Mm-hmm.
a week. The government, Maryland government guy is going to come on. I'm just giving an example of Maryland and say, hey, this is the facility you go to if you're feeling like you have corona virus.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to tell people where to go. If you have these symptoms, go here.
But wouldn't you
So
know
you
to
can
just
get
go to
checked out.
your closest hospital, or are they gonna have like a big warehouse facility? Is what you're saying?
He's going to tell us what to do, but yeah, it could be hospital. Go to your local hospital and say, this is what you have. Or they'll say, use this code word
Mm-hmm.
so you could get seen right away.
But why is that? Aren't we already doing that though? I thought we were doing that. Where you go?
We're calling in, and we're calling in. They're setting up.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they're setting up, but in a day or two, you're going to hear, okay, they're finished setting up. Now they want to see people.
Okay.
So 2-3 days, your local government is going to come online and say, hey, if you're feeling this, go here. Go to your local
Okay.
emergency room.
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
Um, honestly, I don't see months. It just goes by really fast, days and weeks.
You mean the virus is gonna end in less than
No, I'm just saying you're asking for a trajectory.
of the virus? Yeah, not
Yeah,
of
of the
like the
virus.
government
Okay, well,
per
as the
se.
virus, again, like what I said in a previous video, it's not going to end in a month. It's not going to end in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 5 months, 7 months, 8 months, 10 months, 11 months, 12 months. 12 month, it might subside. It's going to just be quieted. It's like it disappeared, but then it's going to come back again. But yeah,
And what does the death toll look like for you? If you could,
a
that's what I
lot.
meant for the trajectory. Like, let's say a week, a month, like 2 months, 6 months, or so. Or I don't know if it gives you a number, but
It
months is
doesn't give
like,
me a number, but picture like a small city in your area being wiped out.
wow. And that's what the trajectory for the
That's
12
like
months.
the death toll. Like
For what,
picture
a
that.
week
Picture
from now, or for 6 months, or what? What is that for? Or at the end of the 12 months? Is that what you're looking at?
in general. It could be in a week of people because it's just a lot of people. Once someone in your city is infected, it's really easy to infect the other people
Mm-hmm.
in your city. So that could be whoever is infected in your city. Just think of everyone's infected because everyone will be going to the hospital at some point, sort of.
And do you see the doctors being relieved? In the
In
sense,
what
are
way?
there medical students? I know they were going to activate medical students, retired doctors, nurses to come and help.
Yes, they are, but again, it won't be really publicized in the media because it goes with our core values as Americans. We like pro people, good. We like people that are knowledgeable and stuff. So it might be hush hush. They'll tell the students, "Hey, apply here on a website," and then the hospitals will call you. But yeah, they will be using those. They'll be using retirees, and they'll be using students.
I guess I
In
knew that.
in
I don't know if that was my question. I guess I knew that. Let me see. And are we always gonna have access to the groceries and all of that stuff
if you're not locked down, like they'll lock down a city or
for a
a
couple
city for
weeks?
12 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe in that hour, eighth hour, you have an hour to roam.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know if food will just always be there at the grocery store. If they're
It's
gonna
gonna
be.
be like toilet tissue. It depends on what people take. So
Mm-hmm.
no, the toilet tissue clearly is not always there.
No, I mean, like,
So
are there manufacturers still open that's gonna be always supplying these stuff to the grocery stores? I know if you get there late after a million people has been there, there may not be anything. But are they always
not sort not as how we're used to it.
okay?
They'll say, "Yeah, we're repiling," but every week you go, you don't see what you're looking for. Are you really repiling? Restocking, I should say. Your grocery store.
Um, do you see a lot of doctors and nurses getting infected or impacted and also having high mortality rates because they're taking care of these patients or stuff like
So
that?
what they're gonna say to the doctors, um, it's really hectic for the doctors and nurses and whoever's in the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
They won't even really have time to, hey, test yourself. They'll only test themselves if they're having shortness of breath, but they'll confuse it to me having to run up and down or help the patient. The only time they're gonna get tested is really if they're really out of breath and have a fever. Then they'll test themselves.
Okay, and do you see them having high mortality rates?
Of death
Yeah,
or living?
of death.
Death, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that means.
Everyone who's coming in contact, yeah.
So you see.
Yeah, there's a lot of people dying, but they're not going to tell us. Yes, yes, doctors and nurses will be dying just as much as the citizens.
So who's taking their places? Are they going to have enough
That's
medical
why they're
students
having
retired?
retirees.
But
That's
if
why
they're
they're having
dying at such
retirees
a
and
high turnaround rate, wouldn't that just end at some point, or it's not that fast that they're dying?
exactly. Then they're gonna hit, yeah, at some point, but that's like in the future. Future. I don't know how much months, but
Mm-hmm.
I think in a previous video I said maybe then they're gonna say, hey, to the hospitals, hey, whoever patients are with COVID-19, tell us so we can bring them to a facility that can really take care of them because clearly you guys can't. And I don't know if that's in Arizona or Phoenix or wherever they bring them, the patients. But yeah, they're going to have a facility for them. And I think that's the reason why, because there's so many people dying. Example, doctors, nurses.
That makes me feel sad. It's just like, what? How are they dying? It just, I don't know.
If you still can't wrap your head around it, rewatch the videos and just tick off everything that was said in the video that came to fruition.
I know, and
It's
I'm like
happening.
a part of these videos. It's just so
It's happening.
unbelievable for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
so sad. Like I just want to cry when I hear it. But it hasn't hit yet as we're talking about this. So, and I don't want it to. I don't want to feel
No
any
one
of
wants
it.
it to. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen, but it's
Um.
happening.
Geez, it's sad, and it's so sad because it's just like gloom day, doomsday type stuff.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter how many good karmic things you've done in your life, that does not guarantee you're living.
So I guess let's try to. So
Do the
we have,
positive.
yeah, the positive. So we have the facts, like it's just gonna be high mortality rates, sadness, just sad. What's some ways that people could spiritually protect themselves, physically protect themselves? I know we talked about a lot of the physical stuff, which we'll repeat again for this video in case you haven't watched the other ones, and just to repeat it again in general. So spiritually, what can we do to?
So spiritually, whatever you believe in, you practice it. If you don't believe in anything, practice that spiritually. So if you're an atheist, practice your atheistness. If you're a Christian, practice
Atheism.
that. If you're if you if you're if you believe in Buddha, practice that. That's spiritually. Get in tune with whatever you believe in. Physically.
But could you explain why do that? Okay, practice that. You're saying practice that, whatever that means to people. I don't really know what that means for me. But
So
why
for
do that?
Christians, it gives you a comfort. For Christians, prayer gives them a comfort, and hey, God will help me and protect me, which He will.
Yeah.
If you're a Satanist, your demon, or I don't know what you believe in, he will save you, or he'll take out whatever needs to be taken out. Believe that. It relieves the cortisol in your body, the stress in your body. You practicing your belief system helps with the anxiety in your body.
Okay. Just don't
with
practice
the
belief
chemical
system
stuff.
if you believe in being a serial killer. Just don't practice that.
No, it's a religious. You're talking about spirituality. What do you pray to and stuff? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying physically go out and kill. If you do, I hope to God you get arrested. But and then yeah, that. So physically, whatever they're saying on the news or whatever you're hearing information that sounds pretty good from the professionals, do that. What like stay your social distancing, practice that. Physically you could do that. Stock up on food, you can physically do that. So go get the food that you need to get so you could have some in your house. Buy medication if you can. If you have a lot of medication, ask your doctor. Hey, can you give me medication now, just in case if I can't reach you?
Yeah.
Call your physician. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Keep following your news. Talk to your professionals. We're not professionals, but talk to who can help you with your medicine, who can help you with your food.
But all the doctors are gonna be dead, so who's gonna help them then?
Exactly. But it's not saying, it's like, that's very vague. A lot of people's gonna die, including doctors and civilians. We don't know which ones are gonna die, but so call whoever you need to call.
That's good. That's good. I like that advice. Here's my other question. I want to get into the mindset of this virus. You know, it just came to me. Let's, I know, I think we've touched on it briefly, but let's see. What are they doing exactly to the body? And why is it happening, basically? You don't have to go into the why because I know we touched on like the environment and stuff like that. That's why it's here, but that's not really what I'm asking.
You wanted to hear. It's like eating. It's like.
Is it a million things in it? Like a million of these little virus in the body or something? Because I know they replicate once they get there.
Yeah, it's like replicate. They duplicate. It's like I forget because I haven't been in school for a while. It's like your chromosomes, how it duplicate and moves and cuts.
Yeah.
You have like 26 chromosomes. I don't know.
Well, that's what a virus does. It works with your DNA code.
That.
Yeah.
It does that. That's exactly what it does. Once it's literally the mindset of the virus is once I'm in there, I'm staying like parasite. They're like parasite. They want to live, survive.
So what's the difference between this and say other viruses that the human body has encountered? Why is this like, I know there's viruses that do kill us or kill humans and take them out, but I feel like this is so different.
Yeah, it's different. It's because it's adaptable. This virus is very adaptable. A shaper,
Hmm.
and it duplicates, and it it mute. It's like a mutation. Like it has everything. Oh, you fighting me with your red blood cell? Oh, I got something to kill off your red blood cell. This is from the
Yeah,
virus.
yeah.
Ooh, I got something for that. They
Hmm.
have like some type of combative thing where our body, the fighting stuff that we have for our body, it knows how to eat that away.
Wow, so odd. So if you would say, let's see, the last like really bad one, or at least I guess that's not the last one, but let's say the HIV/AIDS virus compared to
Hmm.
this one, which one's worse?
Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. Let me just go in depth.
Hmm.
Okay, so I would say it's this one's that's worse.
The coronavirus.
The coronavirus is worse than the HIV because the HIV you could get pills and it stabilizes whatever virus is in it. So it makes it dormant in a sense. It makes it go to sleep so you can move around and be healthy again. For HIV, for the AIDS.
But they didn't have pills for a while, so this could be
Yeah,
like we
that's why
don't
they
have
were
pills.
dying.
Hmm.
They were dropping like nobody's business. But once they found like a pill like or whatever to equalize it, that's help. But right now, it's worse than HIV because there's a lot of people dying.
Because there's no pills for it. Is that why?
Yeah, that too, and then also it doesn't have a demographic that it's going to. It's going to everyone.
But
You don't have to be
like you could say,
participating in anything.
here's my thing with the pill example. Like once we get a pill for it, then you could say, well, that has a pill too, so it's fine. But at the core of it, let's say HIV/AIDS doesn't have a pill. This one doesn't have a pill.
Mm-hmm.
What's worse for your body to have? Is it this one because you die faster, or but there's people that recover from it. That's
Then
the
it would
thing.
be both. It would be both. Both
Oh,
would be equal.
oh, okay. It's because we figured
It
out a
would be
checks
both.
and balance for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because without, for example, without the HIV pill, people are throwing up, people are getting high fever, people are prone to pneumonia, people are
Oh, okay,
prone to
like what happened in the 80s.
yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
And this is literally what's happening. People without a pill or a vaccine for this coronavirus, people are prone to lung failure, respiratory problem, brain damage,
Yeah.
heating up the body where it gives them strokes and kills them off.
What are they doing? Or why is it like a respiratory thing? Are they going in and like the virus itself doing something to our lungs or something? What is it exactly is it the lungs they're feeding on per se or something in that area?
They like mucus. It's mucus.
Mhm.
Um, sorry, hold on. Let me just one moment. Okay, so we have a lot of wet membrane mucus stuff. It's obviously inside is wet in our body. I
Yeah.
don't know how to explain this where it doesn't sound crazy, but um, and that's where they strive. Think of it like you know, frogs, the tadpoles, how they like that little swamp water thing,
Yeah.
and they just strive in that dirty distilled water. That's like us. We can't dry out our body, and I don't know if they're gonna be like, oh, maybe chemo or radiation could help it, but that hurts our body if we have radiation. But it's it's our membrane wetness in our
Mhm.
body that they
That's what
like,
it is. Oh wow.
and the lung is there. It's filtering out. I don't know what the lung does. I need to look that up, but it's wet and it can produce it. When it's in the lung, it could really produce mucus, and that's great. Mucus, you don't want mucus in your body, really. You don't want to access the mucus in our body because that's not healthy for our body. That makes it harder to breathe. It makes it just hard. But yeah, they figured out, hey, go in the lungs, you get more mucus, and that's better for us. The virus.
Oh, the virus.
That's
I was like, who? Us? It's better for us?
For
oh,
them,
okay.
the virus.
Okay.
But I don't know if we're going to say, hey, maybe radiation will help, the light thing. But it doesn't really help because that's hurting our body. We all know the research on radiation.
It's almost like it kills them, but it kills us or hurts us too, right?
Yeah, it hurts us too.
So you're saying something similar to radiation would help to kill this thing, minus if it didn't like hurt us as well.
Yeah, it's like
dry environment.
Yeah, dried out, like burn it.
Oh, interesting.
So, maybe that's why they need to cremate.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why they need to burn and cremate the body or something. Because then, oh yeah, talk about that then. Let's see. You know how well we didn't go into it, but you're saying the government or whoever is thinking, let's burn it. Maybe we can't even just bury it or bury the body, not it. Do you see these things being able to feast or live on the dead body? Is that what's happening? Like,
yeah, they can still live on it. Yeah, because it's still wet.
What about when you bury the body?
It goes into the earth, soil, and I don't know if it could come out. You know, like if you're walking as a human and it's wet, say it rained.
Yeah.
And it's still living, and your foot accidentally touches whatever the soil that it was buried in, it could catch it.
Oh, because they could stay dormant for a while or something?
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. So, you talked about this virus.
This is just weird.
It's so odd.
It honestly reminds me of like there's an alien on this earth that shouldn't have came.
Yeah. When you think of aliens invading, you think of these big crazy things, but these viruses are like aliens too. Now we're figuring it out because they got the whole world fucked.
Right.
You said that you see it, maybe at the end of the year or so, it just goes dormant, and then at another time, whether it's like a couple months after or a couple of years, whenever it comes back, that it's gonna come back a second time. After that second time that it comes back, how long does that last for?
You know what it reminds me of? I hate to say it. It reminds me of, this is like cicadas. You know how every 15 years a cicada comes?
Yeah.
This is like the virus. I don't know if we'll see it again in our lifetime, but it goes dormant. And then maybe every 20 years, I don't know. I don't know. Every 100 years it comes back. No. Sorry. No, they're saying no. It's not coming every 100 years. It's coming soon.
Do you see the second time how long it's going to be and if we're going to figure out a cure for it?
Yeah, we are, because we're going to put two and two together. Like, okay, it's the environment that's causing this, and then also it's what's in our body, what it's going for in our body. So everyone's going to work together. Not the medical won't be by itself. It's going to be researchers, environment researchers working with the medical doctors or whatever together.
Yeah, so the government helping out.
Yeah. So it's obviously it's like everyone's chipping in now, but it's very separate. It's separate. No one's giving. I don't see doctors now giving information to environmentalists, scientists. Hey, this is what happened. This is the analyticals of what's happening. But
So you see that them finding a cure, not this time, but next time.
Yeah, because everyone is actually gonna be working together.
So is it going to be as severe next time as this time?
Yeah. Yes.
Uh-huh.
But I can't wrap my head around that. I'm just saying yes, and I can't even process it.
Wow. Um, how does it last around the same time as how ours is?
No, it's like worse. You know
The
how I
second
say that
time is
it
worse?
mutates.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how I say it
Wow.
mutates and just
Hmm.
like it knows our DNA, like it just
Yeah.
shit where it's like you think people are dropping real fast now. No, it's gonna be worse. Like people are gonna
Wow.
really just die without a cause.
That's crazy.
That I can't wrap my head around, but it's
No.
just like people are gonna just drop like flies, and it's like what? What's happening?
But that's not necessarily going to happen in our lifetime, right? Or is it?
It's just take precautions. If it
Hmm.
happened this lifetime, stock up as if you had trauma. This is a traumatic thing. Stock up so you're prepared
Yeah.
for the future. I don't know. Maybe it will happen again. Actually,
They're not
in our
saying.
lifetime.
They're not saying the date.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know how to do that really, but
Okay.
no.
Jeez, I mean, that's good. I didn't need to wrap my head around a second time, especially now that I'm hearing the first time. Like let's crawl before we could walk, basically. um, it's unbelievable. So after that second time, you see it. Sorry, I know I went right back. Do you see it? You said we're gonna figure out like a cure, put two and two together, and then you see it just being wiped out, going away.
No, I see like a vaccine. It's like oh, if this person has like this, not saying that it has a pattern, but
Mhm.
if you have a certain amount of symptom or no symptom, it's like okay, well, here, take this vaccine. It's just like you
Precautions.
complain to your doctor,
Mhm.
like, hey, my ears hurt or whatever. Here goes the antibiotics. Like they give you a form of something like that.
Yeah.
That's what they'll be giving us, like a form of something. We might not identify exactly what strain it is, but
Yeah.
here, this works for this.
Okay. So something like that, and it'll just be a general thing to get,
Yeah,
almost like a when you're a kid, you get certain vaccines.
yeah.
Okay.
But honestly, you know how we're saying how we could get vaccines and they actually shoot the virus of the flu in our body, like give us a shot for that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that with this virus because that
Uh.
will kill a person. So vaccines we're talking about, you can't even. So that's the thing. We won't be able to. You can't. You can't put it in a syringe and shoot it in us so we could be immune to it. No, because it kills us automatically.
Mhm.
So it's I know we're saying we need a virus. We just need to figure out something to stop it. I don't want to say a vaccine because we can't even put that in our body. That's how bad it
Well,
is.
is every vaccine a form of the thing that we're trying to stop? I don't know if that's the case for
I
vaccine.
don't know if that's the case, but
Okay.
I know like they might put like maybe a piece of it so you can fight it off and you already have it in
Uh,
your body. So I'm like, yeah, it's really about the chemistry of the body, why some people live and some don't.
that's crazy.
And I don't know what the chemistry is that yet.
And it's also, I guess, having faith. What you said, praying
Too.
in that, which releases some type of whatever to help fight
It's
it
like
off.
that endorphin, like
Mhm.
the numbness, but it's just like instead of releasing these negative chemicals in our body, just pray to something that gives you joy and
Yeah.
happiness, so you can be able to fight it off.
That's kind of tough, especially if you're already a negative person. That's
And
tough.
this is where it's like science meet religion. Like we have a problem wrapping our head around it.
Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. If you have faith, you'll have faith, or you don't have faith. You just have to believe in what you believe in.
Hmm. I don't know. I feel scared.
Oh,
And I don't want to feel scared, but I do feel scared. I'm not gonna
so
lie.
you look at stuff that don't make you feel scared.
Mhm.
Well, watch your favorite movie that don't make you feel scared. Read your favorite book. Talk about something that don't make you scared.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Go on as if it's not there, but you know it's there. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's just
saying be
hard,
oblivious.
because it's just
Don't
almost
be
like
oblivious, but
it's like that thing.
do your stuff.
It's almost like everything that people tell you coming back, catching up with you, and you just don't know how to help yourself. When people are like, think positive, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just like, I can't think
Shoot, I
positive.
don't know how to think positive in a crisis.
Yeah, I don't even know how to. Sometimes I don't even know how to think positive in like a positive situation, much less like in a negative one.
Yeah, but remember, you know how to navigate. It's true. It's like I can't think positive 24 hours because guess what? Nothing in my life was 100% positive.
Yeah.
So you have to know, hey, I know 100% things ain't positive from my experience. I know that I'm not happy 24/7, but I know there is a light at the end. I know that I might get 1% of happiness, and so far I didn't receive it yet, or I'm on that 1% yet. I know that there's tragedy gonna happen. You take it. You don't ignore. You don't ignore facts. It's
Hmm.
like you can't be happy 24/7. Like I know that they say
Yeah.
you have to be happy all the time, but naturally we go through emotions. Not saying we're bipolar or anything, but or something's abnormal with us, but we have emotions. We are happy.
I
We are
know. It's
sad.
just like the
We
read
are.
scared me though. It's almost
I
like it
know.
said to
I
me, "Hey, you know what? If you're not positive, you get to die, and other people get to live because
no,
they know
and
how to
that
be
and
positive," and
also
that
what
scares
they
me.
said. I know, but that's not it. That's not what they're saying. They're saying
Oh,
anyone could get it. Anyone could
I
get
know
it.
anyone could get it, but what
Yeah,
it said to
that.
me is that yeah, anyone could get it, but if someone gets it and they're positive and you can't be positive, then you die and they live, and I'm like, but I'm just not naturally 100% positive all the time, and I don't know how to fake it.
Yeah, it's not about faking it. Just be your normal state of being.
Mhm. Okay.
Be your normal state of being because that's what your body's used to. They don't want you to change up your routine.
Yeah.
Be as normal as possible as your normalcy. One
Yeah.
person normalcy is to exercise and to tell jokes. The other person is to dwell and look at their next goals or to
Okay.
read a book or something. Like it's very different, but guess what? The chemicals in the body is the same.
Okay, that's good because I'm like Jesus Christ. Now it's like what everyone tells you: be positive, be positive. It's
Yeah,
like
I
telling a
know. And
depressed
then it's
person
like if
to
you
be
have been
positive, and they can't.
no, no.
Okay.
Just try to be your normal. So go around as normal as possible, but just remember it's a crisis or whatever.
Yeah,
It's an
still take your
epidemic.
precaution.
Yeah,
Like if you're sick, still take your medicine. Okay, that's good
medicine.
because that was
Yeah,
scaring me. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could like
yeah. Or if
and
you want to
especially
look
with an
at it,
illness. How are you gonna be positive with an illness?
yeah, or you can look at it like this way. I don't think this is a good example, but just think of it before this happened. Think of everyone dies.
Mhm.
I'm just giving an example. This is not me being heartless.
Yeah.
Think of it before this pandemic happened. We all knew that well, you live, you're born, and then you have an end. We
Yeah.
don't know the end, but you live and enjoy yourself, but don't do nothing too reckless that could make the death come too soon.
Okay.
Meaning, don't run in the middle of a highway. That's
True.
crazy.
Mhm.
Look at it like that. You're not gonna go run in. You're not gonna go in a store and open your mouth for everyone to cough in.
Well, yeah.
You
No.
know, no,
Yeah.
you're not. Just
Yeah.
take the precaution that you could handle.
Mhm. Okay.
That don't mean do not leave your house. No, you're gonna have to leave your house to go
Yeah.
get food.
Okay. So it's not saying I have to be 1,000,000% positively
No, It's like
happy.
when you get your food, just try to do distancing, cover your mouth, or don't look at people when they're talking to you because you don't want their breath or mouth juice to go in your eye. Because that's like a wet membrane, and that virus could go in the eyeball and fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's nothing to be fearful of. We have all this information for a reason, thankfully.
Yeah, but I almost got this feeling, but I don't want to say it because I don't want anything to come to fruition. But it's just almost like would be a shame that you, because no one's exempt, and even though you have information, it doesn't mean that you're exempt from anything. And it just makes me feel scared, especially if I can't think positively enough.
Mike, I could tell you the story when I got freaking swine flu in 2010. That was the worst feeling ever. But I just knew, God, if I ever fight this shit, like I just want to be normal where I can walk again or whatever, bedridden. But it's so weird. It just had to go through my system. Which was hard. It felt like years, but I think it was like for 10 days. I don't remember. But and then one minute I was able to like slowly be normal again. So even if you have it, you can fight. You can.
So what did you do? Did you pray to God? How did you get over the swine flu?
I did absolutely nothing. I did when it was fucking up my belly. It fucked up my belly. I couldn't fight the belly pain.
Were you thinking positive?
No, I wasn't. That's what I'm saying. You have to go through the emotion. Shit, if you can't breathe, don't tell yourself you can breathe. No.
Okay. Because I'm like, am I gonna have to lie to myself? Jesus Christ! Because I don't know how to do that.
No, but it's like my sister and mom would come in and say, "Here, Crystal, you didn't eat all day. Here, try to drink this." And I knew, okay, well, I have to be as normal as possible. Let me just try to drink the water at least, or the ginger ale.
Yeah.
So I did do that, but I didn't want to do it. But I did some as much as I could. Like I couldn't even breathe or turn. I couldn't turn on one side, so I stayed in the bed.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Like on the left side for like all day, and it's like, okay, well, you're gonna have to turn. I know it hurts.
Wow. I didn't know that was that bad for you.
It was that bad, and I sort of blocked it out, but it was horrible. Like I literally thought I was gonna die, but yeah, you could fight it.
Okay.
Yeah, it could brush over, like literally.
Okay, that's good to know.
You could look at it as if it is a flu. Okay. We usually get over flus.
Yeah.
It does that. Because guess what? They said that it's a strain. It could be a strain of swine flu. It could be a strain of influenza flu. We don't know what type of virus it is. We know that it came from animals, and a swine flu comes from animals. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like you could live through it.
That's true. That's good.
You can live through it.
Okay, that's good.
Just take your precautions. This is just the moral of the story is take precautions, get information, and see how you can incorporate that information in your life. That's it. Don't sleep on your information. That means that it's not going to benefit you.
Oh, it's almost like stock up. Go to the grocery store when you find out. Not wait till the president tell you to go.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good, which we've been doing, so that's good. It makes me feel good. It's just
like if someone says social distance, okay, well, I could do that once a week.
Yeah, and I could do all the physical stuff. It's just when they tell me think a certain way, I feel like I'm not thinking it enough and I may overthink it,
Yeah, no, it's just implement where you could implement.
Yeah.
Like, right now I live with the family, like I'm interacting with my family. Social distancing, that don't mean ignore the shit out of my family. No. It means ignore the shit out of the other people, but you can still interact with your family.
Right.
You can still be sane.
True.
And you know what this gives me an example of? Because I work with the Holocaust victims too. And then you read the book. Who makes it is one who sees a future.
Oh wow, I did read that book, but I didn't even think about that book. The
So
book
I know it's
Man's Search
amazing.
for Meaning. Yeah.
Who fights this virus is who could see a future out of it.
Yeah, but then that makes it feel sad for other people. You know, like we're saying
I
that
know.
they didn't live because they couldn't see a future, even though that's
No,
what the guy
no,
said in the book. But it's just like not
no,
necessarily.
not necessarily.
And
But
that's
it's
one
like
part of the book I didn't like,
whatever is
actually.
potent for you.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
whatever is potent for you, whatever will make you live your best life,
yeah.
help you. Like if you're battling it, do what your physicians say, and then also just think of the future when you get out of it, what you'll be doing.
Yeah, whether it's that's what the guy in Man's Search for Meaning. And I think not to judge it, but what I was saying, sometimes it made it seem like, oh well, you lived only because you believed, and you're saying that other people didn't believe. But what if they did, or you
I
know,
know they do.
yeah. So, but I did like what he said, where it was what you said. Think about stuff like, what are you gonna do when you get out? Is it you want to get married? You want to have kids? um, you want to maybe write books, finish school, do this and that, and see yourself in those goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Yep.
good because I still have a lot that I need to do, and I'm not done yet.
Me too. And trust and believe I'll be getting it. But yeah, is there anything else that we need to talk about?
No, nothing I could think of.
Yeah, nothing that I could think of. You guys just maybe you don't have to like pump this one out, but you could pump out the other 4 or 5 ones previous videos.
Yeah, maybe I won't post this. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what they
Yeah,
say.
enjoy you guys.
Okay.
Just actually, maybe this could be our last one about this because it's just very repetitive, and we
Yeah.
could go and talk about whoever we need to do a channeling on. We could do a channeling on, like a kid who had a misfortune, or
Oh yeah, that we like to do either way.
yeah, or someone that we admire or we want to look deep into,
Yeah.
or
Should I post this still? I don't know yet.
just send it over to me, put it in private so I can rewatch it,
Yeah.
and we'll see if it gets posted.
Okay. All right.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys.